Hi everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. I'm sorry if the camera seems shaky and uneven. I can't really do anything about it now, and I wanted to talk about this in my comfort zone. So we're in my room, and I know it's a mess back here. Just ignore that. So as you can probably tell by the title, this video is much different than anything I've ever done on my channel before. But I feel it's important to share these stories if anyone has this experience, to share it so young people will know, girls and boys will know it's okay to speak up. Because I didn't. And the person that did this to me did it to every member in my friend group, including boys. He just couldn't keep his hands to himself. So I'd always, so it happened when I was 11 years old. I want to say that. So I'm going to be 51 in a few days. So 40 years I've not shared this story. I did share it with my therapist and stuff, but up until 2 months ago, I never told anyone this. I knew it happened. I didn't forget it. I may have suppressed some details. Wasn't really a whole lot of details I remember, but it's back now completely. And it's not that I didn't know it happened, and it's not that I suppressed it all these years. I knew it happened. I just didn't want to share it with anybody. I didn't want to talk about it. I was embarrassed by it, So, but to this day, I still have nightmares about it. So, and this kind of is why I don't like older men, like grandfather types. And I know it's not their fault. And most of them are, I'm sure, really nice men. But I see them, and other people see them and think they're adorable. I see them and I'm like, he's probably evil, and this is why. This is my story. So I want to say that in June, one of my friends from that group when I was 11 years old sent me an email, and I hadn't talked to her or spoken to her or anything since 1984, maybe. And because a couple years after the incident, I was no longer allowed to hang out with anybody in that group because they were all partying and drinking and doing drugs and stuff. And my mom just said, you're not going to hang out with them, And I realized she did that because she didn't want me mixed up with that type of thing. And I get it. Not complaining about that. It's probably one of the best things she's done as a mom. But I just hadn't talked to her, this girl, in all these years. And she was having a hard time in the email kind of articulating what she was trying to say. But she said, and all these names are made up. And she gave me permission to tell this story, but I'm still making up her name. She said, Judy's grandfather molested me at a sleepover when I was 11 years old. And she just said it. And I kind of knew what she was trying to do after that. She was trying to find out if it happened to me. And then she also said it happened to Meredith and Lene and Emma and Kelly. He did it to all of them in what I guess is a very short span of time. But it was when we were all 11 years old. So, and it was all when we were at sleepovers. And what's really funny not funny, that may be a poor word choice, and sorry if I'm getting nervous and stuff. It's really hard for me to tell the story, but I want to tell it. Usually when we had sleepovers at Judy's house, she would have several of us over. So I figured it out. It was whoever he was able to get the closest to after he thought we were asleep is what it was. So those of us who it didn't happen to yet didn't know because our friend didn't talk about it. So, or the person it happened to didn't talk about it. Because we're not sure when it started, but he was disgusting. He was disgusting. But let me get this together in my head. I'm just having a hard time starting to get anxious. But so she was basically asking me, did he do it to me too? And I said, yes, he did. I've never told anybody ever. I think my mom figured it out, but yeah. But she said she told her mom, and her mom said, what are you talking about? He's a sweet old man. You shouldn't say things like that. That can get somebody in a lot of trouble. And that was the response she got. So, and as far as she knew, none of the other girls told anybody. So I will get to what happened to me. So Judy was having a sleepover one night. So we were all sleeping in the living room because her bedroom was too small for all of us. I think there were 4 of us. And so we were sleeping like boom, 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 boom. And I was here on the outside. And her grandfather lived in a converted garage, and that door was right next to where I was sleeping. Like I was sleeping here, and the door was right here. So I woke up in a very uncomfortable position, and my lady parts burnt really bad. So I kind of knew, and I saw his like silhouette walking around the dining room going back to his room. So, and also my panties were pushed to the side and my legs were up, like my knees were bent, like I was having an exam, like going in for a lady exam, you know. And I don't sleep like that. And I knew that he did something to me. So I just got up and I was trying to call my mom, but the girl's mom was in her room and she heard me and she came out and she was like, what's wrong? I said, I'm gonna go home. And she goes, you don't need to go home, just go to sleep. I'm like, no, I want to go home. I didn't want to tell her, your dad molested me in the living room just now. So it didn't even occur to me to say those words. I was just like, it felt like a bad dream. And I don't know if I was actually asleep while it was happening or if I just shut down. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I know that he touched me, but I don't know if I was actually asleep for most of it or if I was just shut down mode. You know what I mean? So I called my mom anyway. I snuck in the kitchen and called my mom. So my mom walked down and got me, and then she said, well, why don't you want to stay the whole night? And I don't feel good, you know. So I get home and I go to bed, you know, and I think I took a bath, and I got up in the morning. My mom came in and said, hey, you started your period, because it would have been the beginning, like my first period. And I was like, I don't think I did. And she goes, well, there's a little blood in your panties, so I think you did. Because where else would it come from? And so I just kind of let it go. She wanted to buy me pads and stuff, so whatever. And I think it was maybe a month or 2 later, when I still hadn't actually started my period, I think she realized that I didn't, that's not what it was. And because she cut off all contact, I was no longer allowed to go to this girl's house anymore or anything. But she never said anything or asked me anything about it. So, and I wasn't going to say anything to her because she wasn't the type of mom that exactly made you feel safe coming to her. It would have depended on her mood if she was going to believe it or not. So, and he was this old, he was in his 80s, and he was really tall, and he was just a grandpa, and he acted just like he didn't speak very good English, and he just acted like he didn't even know what was going on. And he knew exactly what was going on, but it turned out he touched all of us girls, and I think it included Judy, his granddaughter, because of just the sheer amount of trouble she started getting into a couple years later. Now, at the time, I didn't realize that's what it was from, but now as an adult looking back, I'm like, well, she was trying to kill pain. And her mom remarried and had a baby girl, and I remember being over their house one day, and I don't remember if this was before or after it happened to me, but he went to pick up the baby girl, and Judy grabbed the baby girl and told him, "Don't you touch her." So I don't know. She didn't want him touching her baby sister, his other granddaughter. And it was a big family. They had, I think there were 4 boys and 2 girls after the baby was born. And I believe that he was messing with some of the young boys too. And that's based on what my friend said in the email and our discussion back and forth. But he was just touching everybody. He couldn't keep his filthy hands to himself. And now it's just all starting to come out. It's not that I didn't remember it, but it's just now I feel more safe talking about it. But I'm pissed off because, he was in his 80s back then when it happened. So, he's dead. And that I wish I told somebody, because even if they didn't believe me, I at least told somebody. I would have at least told somebody. Now, I know I probably could have called my sister. She's 12 years older than me, and told her what happened and had her tell my mom or something. But it just didn't occur to me to even say anything, because you kept naughty things and shameful things a secret, and you didn't tell anybody anything, not in her household, my mom's household. So I don't know. I guess I thought that I was going to get in trouble if I said anything. But I do think now, looking back, I think I never know how she's going to react, but I do think I probably could have told her. I don't know what she would have done, but I think she knew by the blood in my panties and me not actually starting my period till almost a year later that wasn't what that was. And I wanted to come home, and I really feel like she put it together, because she wouldn't let me go over there anymore. And after a couple months, and I don't know. And she's gone too. She died in 2009. So I can't even ask her about it, So I do have a lot of regret in that I didn't say anything. And I do apologize if the story is all over the place. Please understand that it's really hard for me to tell this story. It's just hard to put it all together, and I'm trying not to lay down any real names, because I don't want to violate anyone's trust, even though, I mean, they're never going to see this. But, oh, and I want to say one of the girls in our core group, she hung herself. And very young. I think she was 15 or 16. She hung herself and said in her suicide note, something like, it was, I think my mom said that it said something like, I told you, Mom, what happened to me, and you didn't do anything, and I can't live with this anymore, or something along those lines. And my mom asked me if I knew what she was talking about, and I didn't, because I didn't know that this man did it to everybody until this past June when I got that email. I didn't know that he was doing this to the whole neighborhood, having sleepovers, waiting for them to go to sleep, and then messing with them. Now, it's just, and I'll also want to talk about how the first time I used a tampon, my mom did not want me to wear tampons. She had this thing about, only whores wear tampons. But I was going to a lake with one of my friends, and this is a new group of friends, and this is my middle school friends. And so her older sister showed me how to use the tampon. And I'm like, if my mom finds out about this, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. But I did it. But because I was so nervous when I went to change it, it hurt really bad to take it out. And it kind of made me flashback to that night. That's how I felt down there. And after that, I would never use it again. I just didn't go in the water. I'm like, no, y'all have fun playing in the water. I can't do it anymore. And I never told her. And I remember sitting on the little beach by the lake. It's such a cute lake, but like a cute area, not a cute lake. It's a body of water. And her mom was sitting there in a chair just chatting with me, and I was even looking at her thinking, maybe I should tell her. But it was so long ago that, it was like, I was 14 at the time. I think I was about 14 when we went to the lake, so I don't think it would have mattered. So anyway, yeah. That's my story. I know it's kind of all over the place, but I just want to share it because I want others to feel like they can tell somebody what happened to them. And a victim's not going to say anything until they're ready to say anything. And I absolutely agree with that. It's if you're a victim, it's up to you to share that story. And it's up to you when you share it, if you ever share it. I mean, I only just about a month ago told Eric about it. He didn't know about it. He knew there was something more than things that my mom had said and done. He knew there was something more, but he didn't want to push it. But I told him about it, and he's such a good husband. He's see, I'm getting I almost made it through the whole thing. He wants to bring the guy back to life so he can kill him, but I mean, it can't be done now. So, but anyway, I'm sorry. I have to get off of here because it's going there now. I already cried once today in a group, so I don't need to do that again. But yeah, I want kids, boys and girls, to feel like they can go to somebody. Now, if it's a parent that did it, go to a trusted adult. Even if it's a police officer or someone, most police officers are good. I believe that. Eric doesn't believe that, but I believe that most police officers are there to protect. I know that there are a handful of bad ones. Those are the ones we hear about. But, yeah, so I want kids to be safe. I want them to come forward and tell their story, because I mean, I held it in for 40 years, and it's all, there's other trauma that I'm dealing with collectively. Like I have PTSD, multi, is it compound PTSD? I forgot what my doctor called it, but you know, I'm dealing with, you know, I had my best friend shot himself in the head right in front of me a month after my father died. Yeah, I was hit by a motorcycle when I was 6 years old, and I've told that story before. And now this trauma that I'm trying to deal with, and it's just layers. And most adults do experience more than one trauma in their lifetime. But even though I wasn't really, it was just one incident, it affected me. You know, it made me keep that a secret from my husband for almost 25 years. I finally told him about it. And I just want people to feel safe. I want kids to know that there's someone they can tell. Now, if they're in a situation where it's a parent and they just feel hopeless, I don't know. But there's got to be someone that can. I know. It's gray area. It's not black and white. It's not always easy, but well, I mean, that's something that's not easy to talk about. I mean, you hear me, I'm just a babbling, blithering, blah. But, you know. Anyway, so I hope that this made sense to you, was useful. I'm going to leave my comments on. I have seen some really nasty comments on videos of people sharing their story. And if it gets like that, I guess I'll turn the comments off. I'm not a big fan of that. But I saw one, the girl was molested when she was 11, just like me. And people said, well, 11-year-olds are dressing so sluttily and everything. Like, oh, so it's the 11-year-old's fault that a grown-ass man couldn't control himself. Okay. The 11-year-old's fault. And today I was actually in group, and I was really, really angry because I'm to the anger phase of it now, and I'm just enraged. I'm just like, why? What gives anybody the idea that they have the right to touch somebody's child? You know, I mean, I was a child, 11-year-old. That's a little girl, and this motherfucker thinks he can just stick his hand in his granddaughter and all his granddaughter's friends when they're sleeping over. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting to me. And anyway, I'm getting into the rage phase. So I'm going to end this. I'm going to watch this video, and if I don't like the way it goes, I won't put it up, but I'll probably put it up. So I'm sorry I was interrupted by a phone call, but I was going to say goodbye. So I'm going to review this video, and I don't know, I'll probably put it up, but if I don't like the way the story is going, I'll try to do it again. It ended up being longer than I thought it would be. So, but we got to stop people from doing this. I have no idea how to fix this problem, but it's just getting worse, I think. Yeah, so when I see older men like grandpas and stuff, I don't trust them. And I know that that's not nice of me, but I'm just like, I don't want you to talk to me. I don't want you to acknowledge me. I don't even want you to hold the door for me. Just go, because just seeing you makes me angry. And it's not even their fault. And that's why I'm in therapy. So anyway, that's all. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to all of you later. Bye.